Hello student, today we start with our computer system architecture's new lesson, which is a input and output devices. Okay, in this lesson, we understand the construction and working of input and output devices and the interference of the other peripheral devices. Okay, now the first input device is a keyboard. Uh, Okay, then as we already know, the keyboard is a major input device of computer system. Okay, keyboard layout, the keyboard layout is an any specific arrangement of key considering the mechanical, visual or functional keys, legends or key meaning association of computer, typewriter or the other telegraphic keyboard. The four keyboard layout used for most desktop PCs are as follows. Okay, the first keyboard layout is a 3 key PC 80 keyboard. Okay. Then 84 key 80 keyboard, enhance 101 keyboard, and last one is a Windows 104 keyboard. Okay. Keying, typing keys. First serial number, keys and description. The keys, these keys include the letters. Typing keys किसको बोलते हैं? कीबोर्ड जिसका यूज करके हम कंप्यूटर को इनपुट प्रोवाइड करते हैं उसको हम कीबोर्ड बोलते हैं. As you already know what is the, how the keyboards are, structure of keyboards and what is the major use of keyboard. Okay, then the keyboard structure is divided into typing keys, numeric keys, function keys, control keys, and special purpose keys. Okay, typing keys means what? Typing keys. These keys are include the letter keys A to Z and digit keys 09, which generally gives the same layout as that of typewriters. Then second type of keys are numeric keypad. It is used to enter the numeric data or cursor movement. Generally, it consists of set of 17 keys that are laid out in the same configurations used by the most adding machines and calculators. Okay. Third, in keyboard, there is a third type of keys are a functional keys. The 12 function keys are present on the keyboard, which are arranged in a row at the top of the keyboard. Each function key has a unique meaning and is used for some specific purpose. Next, keys, which is on keyboard are a control keys. These keys provides cursor and screen control. It includes 4 directional arrow keys. Control keys also include home, aim, insert, delete, page up, page down, control, alternate, and escape keys. Means function keys जो है, typing keys किसको बोलते हैं? जिस पे हम A to Z alphabets है, 0 to 9 digits है, उसको हम typing keys बोलते हैं. Numeric keypad is a numeric data or cursor movement. Generally, it consists of set of 70 keys. Okay. Then function keys topmost means keyboard पे जो भी topmost F1 से F12 ये जो है सब ये क्या है? Function keys है. There is a 12 function keys present on the keyboard which are arranged in a row at the topmost top of the keyboard. Each function key has a unique meaning. हर एक function key का एक unique meaning है और उसका एक specific purpose है. Okay. देन कंट्रोल कीज जो है, जो भी हम 4 डायरेक्शनल एरो कीज जिसे बोलते हैं वो एरो कीज, फिर उसके बाद जो भी कंट्रोल कीज है जैसे कि होम, एंड, इंसर्ट, डिलीट, पेज अप, पेज डाउन, कंट्रोल, अल्टरनेट एंड एस्केप, दिस कीज आर नोन एज अ कंट्रोल कीज. द स्पेशल पर्पस कीज, the special purpose keyboard contains some special purpose keys such as enter, shift, caps lock, num lock, space bar, tab, and print screen. Okay, so keyboard is divided into these 5 types of keys. First one is the typing keys, second one is a numeric keypad, third one is a function keys, fourth one is a control keys, and fifth one is a special purpose keys. The basic structure or layout of this keyboard 101 keys PC keyboard is like this. यहाँ पे टॉप मोस्ट लेयर पे यहाँ पे एस्केप की है। यहाँ F1 से लेके F12 तक जो कीज है उसको हम फंक्शन कीज बोलते हैं। उसके बाद A to Z जो कीज है वो टाइपिंग कीज, और ये जो ऊपर के है 1 to 9 09 तक उसको भी हम टाइपिंग कीबोर्ड कीज बोल सकते हैं। फिर उसके बाद ये जो एरो कीज है अप डाउन पेज अप पेज, ये क्या है, कंट्रोल कीज है। ओके, होम, इंसर्ट, पेज अप, पेज डाउन, डिलीट, एंड, ये सब क्या है, कंट्रोल कीज है। और जो स्पेशल पर्पस की है वो है एंटर की, शिफ्ट, फिर उसके बाद जो नम लॉक है, स्पेस बार है, टैब है, प्रिंट स्क्रीन है, वो सब किस में आता है, स्पेशल पर्पस कीज में। ओके, ये कीबोर्ड है, पीसीस कीबोर्ड। ओके, और जो लैपटॉप कीबोर्ड है उसमें जो स्ट्रक्चर रहता है वो इस तरह का स्ट्रक्चर लेआउट है लैपटॉप के कीबोर्ड का। दिस कीबोर्ड इज इंटीग्रेटेड इन अ पोर्टेबल सिस्टम, मीन्स जो भी लैपटॉप है उसके साथ हम इजीली ये कीबोर्ड क्या कर सकते हैं, वो फिक्स रहता है लैपटॉप के साथ। तो ये पोर्टेबल कीबोर्ड है। ओके, तो ये जो लैपटॉप कीबोर्ड है ऑन पोर्टेबल सिस्टम लाइक लैपटॉप, नोटपैड, कीबोर्ड इज वन ऑफ द इंटरनल पार्ट ऑफ द सिस्टम। जो भी नोटपैड रहते हैं, लैपटॉप रहते हैं, उन पे कीबोर्ड जो आते हैं तो वो इंटरनल पार्ट मीन्स इनबिल्ट पार्ट रहता है वो सिस्टम का। A laptop keyboard is arranged differently than a desktop keyboard to accommodate the laptop narrower footprints. Most laptops keyboards are made smaller by placing the keys closer and by including a function key. Each function key has a unique meaning and is used for some specific purpose. It is used with other keys to perform special functions. For example, pressing the function key and the up or down arrow on the keyboard shown below increase and decrease the brightness of the screen. Furthermore, many laptop keyboards omit the numeric keypad to save space. Laptop uses internal connectors regardless of which type of connected is used. Okay, the cable must carry power to the keyboard and it must carry signals from the keyboard back to the computer. Okay, मीन्स यहाँ पे हमने क्या देखा है कि ये जो लैपटॉप है और लैपटॉप और नोटबुक रहता है उनके साथ, इस सिस्टम के साथ जो भी कीबोर्ड आता है वो इनबिल्ट कीबोर्ड रहता है। उसमें जो भी कीज है, फंक्शन कीज जो है वो यूनिक मीनिंग होता है हर एक फंक्शन की का, और सम स्पेसिफिक पर्पस और फंक्शन की का कॉम्बिनेशन करके हम सम मोर फंक्शंस परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, स्पेशल फंक्शंस परफॉर्म करते हैं। जैसे कि अगर हमने फंक्शन की और उसके साथ अप एंड डाउन एरो की यूज की तो उससे हम जो भी ब्राइटनेस है स्क्रीन का वो इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं या डिक्रीज कर सकते हैं। तो ये लैपटॉप कीबोर्ड जो है और नोटबुक कीबोर्ड जो है उसका स्ट्रक्चर है। ओके, देन कीबोर्ड कनेक्शन टाइप्स। कीबोर्ड जो है मीन्स जो पीसी रहता है उसको हम ये जो कीबोर्ड है वो क्या करते हैं, एक केबल से उसको अटैच करते हैं सीपीयू के साथ, तो वो कनेक्शन, वो इंटरफेस कैसा रहता है। कीबोर्ड कनेक्शन टाइप्स, पीसी कीबोर्ड कनेक्ट्स टू द मदरबोर्ड ऑन द कंप्यूटर by using different connectors. Wired keyboard connect to the motherboard via USB cable using the USB type a connector. Old keyboard connect via 5-pin DIN connector, which is used to connect motherboard that use they at the form factor. Okay, then 6-pin mini DIN connector, also called as PS2 connector. ओके, सो जो कीबोर्ड है वो मदरबोर्ड को कनेक्ट करने के लिए हम कनेक्टर का यूज करते हैं, और यूएसबी केबल कीबोर्ड के साथ जो वायर्ड कनेक्शन है उनका वायर्ड कनेक्शन करते हैं। तो वो जो कनेक्टर रहता है वो 5-पिन कनेक्टर रहेगा या 6-पिन कनेक्टर रहेगा। ओके, कीबोर्ड ऑन लैपटॉप आर ऑफ कोर्स इंटीग्रेटेड। इंटीग्रेटेड का मतलब क्या है कि वो उस सिस्टम के साथ इनबिल्ट रहता है, मीन्स वो पहले से ही जब वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग किया जाता है उसका, तभी से वो इनबिल्ट रहता है उसके साथ, उसको स्पेशल कनेक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है। but technically would be considered wired since that how they are connected to the computer. Nowadays, many computers are wireless, communicating with the computer via Bluetooth or RF receiver. Okay. मोस्टली जो भी अभी रिसेंटली जो भी कीबोर्ड्स है वो कंप्यूटर के साथ मीन्स पीसी के साथ कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं विदाउट यूजिंग वायर। तो उस वो जो कनेक्शन रहता है वो ब्लूटूथ और आरएफ के थ्रू होता है। ओके, तो बोथ वायरलेस एंड वायर्ड कीबोर्ड रिक्वायर a specific device driver in order to be used with the computer. Drivers for standard non-advanced keyboards usually don't need to be a download because they are already included in the operating system. Okay. The types of key switches. Computer keyboard can be classified in different switch technologies. First switch technology is a mechanical switch keyboard. These keyboards use standard spring-loaded momentary on switches. Pressing a key compress a spring and causes a plunger on the bottom of the key to make a physical contact to close the connection. When the key is released, the spring forces it back into the rest position. Mechanical keyboards also have a longer lifespan than membrane or dome switch keyboards with an expected lifespan of 15 million clicks. Okay. The next type of switch technologies are capacitive keyboards. These keyboards are unique in that pressing a key does not make an electrical contact to complete the circuit. Instead of that, movement of the plunger on the bottom of the key alters the state of the capacitive circuit, which the keyboard controller recognizes as the key press. Keyboard with capacitive switches provide a clacky feedback, are even more durable than mechanical keyboards. The next type of switch technology is a dome switch keyboards. These also a hybrid type that combines elements from the category of a flat panel membrane or a mechanical switch, non-dome switch. It uses two circuit board terrace under a flexible keyboard using either metal or polyurethane foam dome. They bring two circuit board traces together under a rubber or a silicon keypad using either metal dome switches or a polyurethane foam domain. The metal dome switches are formed pieces of stainless steel that, when compressed, give the user a crisp, positive tactile feedback. This type of switch technology happens to be most commonly used in handheld controllers, mobile phones, automotive, consumer electronics, and medical devices. Dome switch keyboards are also called direct switch keyboards. Okay. Then the keyboard interface. The PC keyboard interface consists of two separate controller chips, more precisely, to its keyboard. There are several ways of connecting a keyboard to a system unit using wire, including the standard AT connector commonly found on the motherboards, which was eventually replaced by the PS2 and the USB connection. Prior to the iMac line of the system, Apple used the proprietary Apple Desktop bus for its keyboard connectors. Okay, the first keyboard port, PS/2 port keyboard. This PS/2 port is a 6-pin mini DIN connector used for connecting the keyboard and mouse to the PC compatible computer system. The PS/2 platform introduces a second port with the same design as the keyboard port for use to connect a mouse. Thus, the PS/2 style keyboard and the mouse interfaces are electrically similar and employ the same communication protocol. Originally, PS/2 connector were black or had the same color as the connecting cable. The keyboard port and the plugs on the complaint keyboards was purple. Mouse ports and plugs were green. ये जो स्ट्रक्चर दिख रहा है आपको, ये जो है वो है PS/2 कीबोर्ड कनेक्टर। यहाँ पे दिख रहा है 1 2 3 4 5 6। ओके, तो ये जो है वो 6 पिन मिनी डिन कनेक्टर है। और ये जो सेकेंड पोर्ट है with the same design as the keyboard port for use to connect a mouse. Okay, thus the PS2 style keyboard and mouse interface are electrically similar. So this is the PS/2 keyboard connector. Okay. Table for the 6 pin mini DIN connector pin layout. Then second is a USB keyboard interface. This USB keyboard interface, the universal serial bus, is a multifunctional peripheral bus that is growing rapidly in popularity. Nowadays, keyboards can be connected to a USB port. To use a USB keyboard, the PC BIOS must support USB keyboards and you must run an operating system. BIOS support is needed so that the keyboard can be used before the operating system loads to do such a things as a changing setting of computer system. Input output system or choosing a boot sequence options from a boot menu. Operating system support is required for the keyboard to be accessible after the system boots. Okay, this is a USB keyboard interface. Wireless keyboard interface has become popular. Their increased use freedom. Wireless keyboards, on the other hand, connect to the computer through infrared rays, radio frequencies, or Bluetooth connections. The wireless keyboard often include a required combination of transmitter and receiver unit that attach to the computer's keyboard port. The wireless aspect is achieved either by the radio frequency or by the infrared signals sent and received from the both the keyboard and the unit attached to the computer. Wireless keyboards based on infrared technology use light waves to transmit signal to the other infrared enabled devices. But in case of radio frequency technology, a wireless keyboard communicates using signals which range from the 27 megahertz to up to 2.4 gigahertz. Most wireless keyboards today work on the 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency. Now the next input device is a mouse. Okay. The mouse was not a part of original PC configuration till the graphical user interface had not been introduced. But in mouse became essential input device as a keyboard. Mouse is the most popular pointing device. It is a very famous cursor control device having a small palm size box with a round ball at its base, which senses the movement of the mouse and sends corresponding signal to the CPU when the mouse button was pressed. Generally, it has two buttons, the left and right button. A wheel is present between the buttons. The mouse can be used to control the position of the cursor on the screen, but it cannot be used to enter the text into the keyboard. The optimal mouse is a computer mouse first introduced by the Microsoft on April 1999 that utilizes the LED light emitting diodes or the laser to track movements. These differing technologies are identified by examining the bottom of the mouse. The pointing devices come in many forms, all of which are permutations of the original mouse design. The following, the following section examines three pointing devices and how they are work. The first is a mechanical mouse. In mechanical mouse, the ball mouse was the first type of mouse created, and this device is integrated with a metal or rubber ball. The ball mouse has two freely rotating rollers. These are located 90-degree parts. One roller detects the forward and backward motion of the mouse and the other left and right motion. The biggest drawback in a mechanical mouse is that regular cleaning they require. due to the accumulation of dirt which will be hinder with the cursor movement. Okay, then the next is a optomechanical mouse. The in a optomechanical mouse consists of a ball that rolls one of two wheels inside the mouse. Each wheel contains a circle of hole or notches, an LED light through and detected by a sensor. As the wheel rotates, these lights represent an x-axis or a y-axis for the mouse pointer on the screen. This mouse is a more accurate than a mechanical mouse that uses only wheels and rollers. However, is not good as an optical mouse. Okay. Then this is the structure of optomechanical mouse mechanism. Okay. Here जो नंबर वन जिसको पॉइंट कर रहा है वो क्या है, स्विच डिटेक्ट्स क्लिक्स ऑफ लेफ्ट एंड राइट माउस बटन. सेकेंड जो है वो है स्क्रॉल व्हील एंड क्लिक बटन. ये जो है वो क्या है, स्क्रॉल व्हील एंड क्लिक बटन. पॉइंट नंबर 3 जो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है वो है एक्स एक्सिस एंड वाई एक्सिस ऑप्टिकल सेंसर्स. और ये जो 4 नंबर है वो है रबर बॉल. The rotating ball of an optoelectronic mouse is a metal made for wet and rubber coated for grip. When the mouse is moved, the ball rotates, and as it does so, it drives two rollers, one each an x-axis and or y-axis displacement. A third spring-loaded roller holds the ball in place against the other two. These rollers then turn two discs with radial slots cut in them. Each disc rotates between a photodetector cell, and each cell contains two offset light emitting diodes and light centers. As the disc turns, the sensors see the light appear to flash, showing movement, while the offset between the two light sensors shows the direction of the movement. Optical mouse. Optical mouse was different method for determining the position of cursor. In early, optical mouse is used as an infrared LED to detect the movement of the mouse pad, rather relying on the replying on the traction between the mouse ball and the rollers. While this type of mouse was more accurate than an optomechanical mouse. Okay, and avoided the maintenance problem associated with the moving parts of an optical mechanical mouse. It did have its drawback. The most obvious one was reliance on a special grid platter mouse pad. Another was that performance could be compromised by bright lights. Okay, this is a structure of optical mouse. Here is a pointing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the scroll wheel to detect rotation and switch mechanism detects button press. Okay, the light detector sensor detect the reflected light from surface for a movement. And the third point, यहाँ पे दिख रहा है थर्ड पॉइंट, डेस्क सरफेस टू लाइट डिटेक्टर एंगुलर गाइडेड चैनल्स. एंड जो 4 नंबर का है वो क्या है, लाइट एलईडी जनरेटर टू डिटेक्ट द मूवमेंट. So this is in optical mouse, a LED glow the surface below the mouse. The light from the LED reflects off microscopic textual features in the area of traversers. A plastic lens collecting the reflecting light and forming an image on a sensor. The presence of optical light is an added advantage because there is no case of mechanical failure in the mouse which affects the movement. Optical mouse have a standard DPI of 800 and it increases depending on the need of mouse. Gaming mouse go up to 12,000 DPI as it requires extreme precision. Now the next type of mouse is a trackball mouse. The trackball mouse is a pointing device consisting of a ball held by a socket containing sensors to detect the rotation of the ball. The user can roll the ball with the help of the thumb or the palm to when moving the pointer. Unlike the movement limitations in a normal mouse, there are no limits for effective travel in a trackball mouse. Trackball mouse also have low friction, which helps with the fast and limitless movement across the screen. Trackball mouse are common in CAD workstation and radar consoles at air traffic control room for precise movements. Trackball can be used when playing a few games which require hassle-free movements. So this is the structure or diagram of trackball mouse. Okay. Now the last point is a touchpad. Touchpad किसे बोलते हैं? Another pointing innovation that came from the needs of portable computer user is a touchpad. The touchpad is the most common mouse for laptops. It works much like a touch screen with a finger moving on screen cursor. Click by tapping the screen or using a physical button. Depending on the design of the touchpad, modern versions support a range of tapping and swiping gesture using multiple fingers, making uh, making them arguably even more versatile than the mouse itself. Okay, and the last point is a difference in connection options. There is similar evaluation in how the different kinds of computer mouse attached to the computer itself. Before the IBM PC made personal computers a business tool, the mouse was often designed to connect to a joystick port. Serial mouse. The IBM PC didn't have a joystick port, but it did have an RS232C or serial port for communicating with the other devices. Okay. Microsoft and mouse system were often designed to attach to these ports. Serial ports came in 9-pin and 29-pin versions. Okay. Now the next is a PC/2 mouse. When IBM introduced its PC/2 series of personal computers, we already discussed in keyboard. The PS/2 port is a 6-pin mini DIN connector used for connecting keyboards and mouse to a PC compatible computer system. Original PS/2 connector were black or had the same color as the connecting cable. Okay, now the next is a USB mouse. When the USB interface was first defined in the 1990s, they provide a single port that could be used for many peripheral devices, including a mouse. Any type of mouse that still use a cord typically continue to use the USB connector. Wireless mouse. Cord can be inconvenient, so wireless mouse were introduced. Some conventional designs plug a small wireless dongle into the USB port and use that to communicate between the mouse and the computer. Cordless mouse will use infrared or the other technologies to transmit their signal to the receiver connected to the computer. Modern laptops and tablets typically have Bluetooth built in, so a Bluetooth mouse doesn't require a dongle. Okay, so today we stop here and the next part is continuing next lecture.